Don't listen to Chris.
Yeah.
My
Okay.
screen's not-
Welcome back to the meeting place, everyone. Today we have with us, as usual, Emma, Griffin, Emily, Chris, Jordan, and today I am your host, Diego. And today we'll be playing a fun little trivia style game that I like to call, excuse me, can I make an adjustment or a suggestion, whichever you would like better?
I don't know.
So this is a game show in which
Oh.
I am a writer with some very exciting pitches for potential movies. And I've invited you, other successful artists, of course, to help me make my work amazing. And since we're all Canadians and we want to live up to the expectation that the world has put on us, I suppose, whether we are polite or not, the number one rule is that you must be polite. So that means that you must preface your corrections with, excuse me, can I make a small suggestion or adjustment, whichever one works. It doesn't have to be
Wait,
work
what is it?
specific.
What
It doesn't
did
have to
you
be that specific. It just,
Okay.
you know, adjustment or suggestion, depending on which one works for what you're about to say. So should you not be polite, you will not get the point, but feel free to interrupt me the moment you hear something you'd like to correct. That is not considered impolite as long as you say, excuse me. So,
Studio audience.
yeah.
Excuse me.
What do we say? I'll dub it over or something. I don't know. I am gonna ask you to mute yourselves, unless anyone has any questions. Other than, we're good to go. Yeah, Griffin.
Do it.
Oh, I'm just really nervous. I don't know.
I know.
Okay, so first pitch. I'm writing a play about a prince named Hamlet. His uncle kills Hamlet's dad in order to claim the throne, and now the Prince of Scotland seeks to avenge his father.
Excuse me, I'd like to make an adjustment.
Yeah, go ahead, Jordan.
Instead of it being Hamlet, I would like it to be a Muppet of some sort. I kind of want to see that reenactment. That is canon with the meeting place. We've said that before.
You know what? I'm gonna give you the point, but that is because it's on me for not clarifying the rules of the game better.
Can I take a stab at maybe what you meant?
Yes, but I'm
I
still gonna
also
give
know.
I'm still gonna give Jordan the point
I
because
understand.
I should have clarified that the suggestions, there is something wrong in the pitch that I'm making. It is based on things that exist in real life. I'm clearly not writing Hamlet. But the statements that I'm making about my pitches have something different about them from the original concept.
What I'd like to say first
Which
is
is
that Jordan called
which is
Bert a
absolutely
Muppet.
on me, and I think a Muppet Hamlet would be amazing. So that is a point for
Oh
Jordan.
my god.
Excuse
We
me.
all.
I'd like to make a suggestion.
Yeah. Griffin, go ahead.
I'd like to suggest that Hamlet is the Prince of Denmark instead of Scotland.
You know what, Griffin? That is a great suggestion. I think I'm gonna change that to the Prince of Denmark instead. That is absolutely my bad. So I'm gonna give a point to Jordan and to Griffin as well. So, the second pitch I have is that I'm writing a screenplay called Shrek. Now, the story takes place in a fairy tale land in which the main character, an ogre, will marry a princess. It's going to be an adaptation from a book called The Princess and the Frog. And the Ogre, I'm sorry. The Princess and the Ogre. Now, do we have
Excuse
any?
me, can I make a suggestion?
Absolutely, Emma. Please go ahead.
Instead of the ogre marrying the princess, his job is to rescue the princess from imprisonment in a tower.
You know what? I like that suggestion. I was already kind of going to add that into the story, but unless someone else has a better suggestion, I will I will take that as a valid suggestion.
Fantastic.
Mhm.
Hi, I love your suggestion. However, I was wondering if you more meant that instead of in a fairy tale land, it's a fairy tale land far, far away called Duloc.
That is very interesting. I want to set it in a fairy tale land, but absolutely, there is a kingdom called Duloc within this fairy tale land.
Excuse me.
I
Can I
heard
make
Emma
a
first, so
Yeah. Can I make a suggestion
Yeah.
that actually it's not an adaptation from any existing work, and it's a new story?
That is very interesting. It is an adaptation from a book. I'm gonna take one more. Griffin, go ahead.
I love where you're going with this, Diego. If I could just offer a suggestion.
Absolutely, of course.
I believe the adaptation of a princess and an ogre is not that the princess and the ogre get married, but that the ogre captures the princess and needs to be rescued.
Oh, you know what? You are very, very close. I think I'm gonna give a point to Emma, both Emma and Griffin, because you're getting close to what it is in here. I think what I'm gonna go with at the end is that actually the adaptation is from a book called Shrek, as instead of The Princess and the Ogre. I think the originally, that was I
We just
read
had
the
to say
title.
Shrek.
There was a book.
Shrek
There was a book
book?
called Shrek before the movie Shrek.
That is correct. It's just called Shrek. It's not called The Princess and the Ogre. So that point goes to Griffin and Emma. I'm just like very generous today. Moving on to the next question here. So I'm writing a screenplay that takes place in a magical school. The children will be sorted into 4 houses, which will have certain values. Among them will be Gryffindor, which will value bravery and chivalry. Hufflepuff, which will value hard work and community. Slytherin, which will value ambition and leadership. And Ravenclaw, which will value knowledge and wit. How does that pitch sound to all of you?
Sounds really good.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Should we just leave it at that?
Excuse me, Diego. It does sound really good. I have one small tweak if you're open to hearing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all ears.
I wonder if Slytherin maybe doesn't value leadership but cleverness.
I think I like it how it is. I think Slytherin likes leadership.
This was a different game. I would just say, what is Hogwarts? But this is not that game, and I'm
It's not this
confused.
game.
Diego, may I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Would it be possible that you would maybe Hufflepuff and Gryffindor could swap some traits? Maybe I feel that Hufflepuff could value chivalry instead of hard work, and then maybe Gryffindors value hard work over chivalry.
That's a very interesting suggestion, Chris. I appreciate the suggestion. However, I think
wasn't
I'm
a fan
pretty
of it, actually.
Commitment is the
Sorry,
key.
Diego.
Mhm.
Can I just interject and make a suggestion that perhaps you need to pick 2 qualities for Gryffindor that are more less like each other?
That's a great suggestion, Emma. I think these are kind of like few of the number of traits that they'll have. So these are just kind of general pitches that I'm giving to you, but these are indeed traits of
Hey.
the houses.
Hey, I love your suggestions. I just have a small, if I may, a small little note here.
Absolutely.
You did at sort of the beginning, you were mentioning that it's just this magical school. I wonder if it's more a school of witchcraft and wizardry.
You know what? I
just feel like that
do-
language
Yeah,
works a
yeah.
little better.
I do like the suggestion, and I think it is a great suggestion. There is something else in there that I was hoping someone would get at, but I think we've given it enough time to this question that I think I'll give a point to
Is
Emily.
it something about the sorting? Is it something about the sorting?
Not quite. Hufflepuffs don't. Community isn't one of their traits. It is kind of like a thing that people put on them as like a thing that could be a Hufflepuff trait, but it isn't. Next pitch is that I'm writing a screenplay called The Wizard of Oz. A girl named Dorothy will have her house picked up by a tornado in land in a magical land. There's some terrible writing in there. That's just, that's why I have you guys here. She'll meet 3 characters: a tin man who seeks a brain, a scarecrow who seeks a heart, and a lion who seeks courage.
Excuse me, may I make a suggestion?
I heard Griffin, so I think I'll let him answer first.
I'd love to make a suggestion. I love where you're going with this. I just want to say, amazing writing. The 2 landing things really hit me.
Thank you.
I would maybe.
I just want to say this game is about politeness, not about
I'd be honest.
Yeah, suck
Assassin?
up.
Yeah.
I would wonder if you want to explore switching what the Tin Man and the Scarecrow are looking for.
You know what? That is a very good suggestion. I think I'll go ahead and switch Tin Man who seeks a heart instead of a brain, and the other way around. I think that is a great suggestion, Griffin. Thank you so much. Next question. I'm writing a screenplay called Shawshank Redemption that takes place in a prison. A banker named Andy will get a double life sentence in jail for the murder of his wife and her lover. Andy will manage to escape prison by digging a hole behind a Marilyn Monroe poster inside of his cell.
I'd love to make a suggestion if you don't mind.
Griffin, full of ideas. Yeah, sure.
I wonder if you'd like to explore somebody else other than Marilyn Monroe.
You know what? I think I would. I'd like the idea of somebody else. Does anyone else have a suggestion on whose poster it could be?
Excuse me, may I make a suggestion for the poster?
Yeah, absolutely, Jordan.
Jethro Tull.
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Jethro Tull is?
Sorry. So I don't think I'll because I don't know who that is. Be hard to me. I'll do some research and maybe I'll take you up on that offer. But for now, I think we'll pique somebody else's brain. So unless anybody has another suggestion, I think Griffin gets this point. And this just came to my brain, but I think Raquel Welch should be on the poster. All right, so moving forward. I'm writing a pitch to Marvel about a Spider-Man crossover. It'll star Miles Morales' Spider-Man. The big bad of the movie, the Prowler, will later be revealed to be Miles' uncle, and he creates a portal to other dimensions to bring back his dead wife and son.
May I? I have a small little suggestion.
Of course.
Is
yeah,
it
go
his maybe it's his daughter, not his son?
ahead.
I can't remember.
You know what? I'm pretty sure it's his son, but I think
Great. Yeah, no problem. I was just checking.
Yeah.
I like your idea better.
May I interject?
Absolutely. Go ahead, Emily.
With a query. If it is possibly not his uncle that creates the portals, but instead it's a banker man who also loses his wife and son, and he recruits the Prowler to help. Possibly. Does that work?
You know what? That's actually a really great idea that I hadn't considered. I'm not sure if he'll be a banker. I'm not sure what his profession is, but I think that's a better choice. I don't think it should be Miles' uncle who is the big bad. I think maybe I'll name him Kingpin or something of the sort. Sweet. So Emma gets that point. So next question. I'm writing a twist on a happily ever after story. In this scenario, a princess named Michelle ends up in a modern day New York after she is pushed into a well by a jealous sorceress queen named Nerissa. Yada, yada, yada. The princess meets the love of her life in the Big Apple and starts a fashion design business with her new love. The screenplay will be named Enchanted.
May I interject?
You
Is
may.
it Ella? Maybe like Ella Enchanted, and her name is Ella as opposed to just Enchanted?
It's I don't quite like the name Ella, but I think you're right. I think this name doesn't quite jive with the
Yeah.
thing. So if anybody else has a better suggestion for the name, otherwise I'll give the point to Emily. Anybody else would like to? All right, I think I'm gonna give that point to Emily for her insightful input. Maybe her name should be like Giselle or something that rhymes with it. Maybe that'd be better. I'll think on it some more, but for now I'll give the point to Emily. Thank you so much for everyone's suggestions. This is why I have you all here. You're amazing minds in the entertainment industry. All right, so now to switch gears a little bit, I'm thinking of writing. I love that Jordan just has all these different locations. I'm writing a horror screenplay called Friday the 13th. The main character, Nancy, and her friends will be haunted in their dreams by the monster Freddy Krueger. Finally, after all her friends are dead, Nancy will beat the monster by pulling him out of her dreams and taking away his powers.
Excuse me, may I make an adjustment?
Of course. Jordan, what's
Or-
your suggestion?
For a movie called Friday the 13th, I feel like we should recruit a different monster than Freddy Krueger. I think someone like a more Canadian, bring it down to earth, Jason might be better for a Friday the 13th movie.
You know what? That is an absolute great suggestion, Jordan. Thank you so much. I think maybe this will be like a different movie called Nightmare on Elm Street or something like that. I think that'll be a better title for that. But for this one, I think you're absolutely right. This is on the right path.
I don't know why I'm in on this meeting. Everybody has much better ideas than I do.
Listen, everybody's input is equally valid, whether you get to the right option or not. All right. All right. So moving on to the next pitch. I'm writing a screenplay that will take place in a fantasy world with elves, dwarves, hobbits, and more importantly, rings. Frodo, the protagonist, is gifted the One Ring by his father Bilbo before he embarks on his last adventure. Frodo, guided by a new friend named Gandalf and numerous other characters, will embark on a journey to destroy the ring in Mount Doom.
Diego, may I make a suggestion? Instead of instead of Frodo's father, maybe it could be his uncle Bilbo Baggins.
Oh, you know what, Chris? That is a pretty good suggestion. I feel like this could get very fuzzy for some people if we don't clarify that a little more.
Absolutely, you want it to be his uncle all the time.
Absolutely. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna give you that. I'll change it to his uncle Bilbo and put Chris on the map.
Can I ask for a rule clarification?
Yeah,
We're allowed to interrupt you at any point during your pitch, correct?
you are, as long as you are polite about it.
Thank you.
I did not know that.
We're gonna get going with the next pitch here, which is a screenplay that I'm writing about high school mean girls. In this show I'm writing, Katie moves back to the United States and is warned about the plastics. She develops a crush on Regina's ex-boyfriend, Aaron, and a feud between the girls ensues. Regina shares the contents of a burn book to the whole school, in which every female junior is mentioned except for the plastics and Katie. In the end, Regina will storm out of the school only to get hit by a bus. So this is kind of.
Can I make a suggestion?
Absolutely, Emma. Go ahead.
The burn book is shared, and most of that is correct, but I think actually it would be better if Regina is mentioned in the burn book.
You know what? I think that is a wonderful suggestion, and I think I'll keep it in there. I think Regina should make everyone believe that she didn't write it. That's a phenomenal idea. Thank you so much, Emma.
I make a suggestion as well.
Of course. What's the suggestion?
I'd like to readjust my contract to have about 1% revenue on this movie. It sounds great. So other than that, everything's great.
You know what? I'll have my people talk to your people, and we'll figure something out. Get you some credits in there. All right, moving on to the next pitch here. I'm thinking about a series now. I'm actually writing a pitch for HBO for a series called, I want to call it Game of Thrones. It'll be based on a book series called A Song of Ice and Fire, and it was first published in 1996. My favorite character in the series is named Daenerys, and she has 3 dragons. She can speak the word Dracarys, which translates to Dragonfire, and her dragons Dorgol, Viserion, and Rhaegal Spitfire.
Excuse me, if I may make a suggestion.
Of course.
Could the first dragon be named Drogon?
The first dragon, I was pretty attached to that name, but I think I like Drogon better. It has better ring to it. So I'm gonna change that to Drogon here.
Out of breath.
Moving on to a Netflix miniseries that I'm writing. I'm pretty busy, as you can tell, but it's gonna be called The Queen's Gambit. The main character, Beth Harmon, is an orphan who learns to play chess from a very skilled player and janitor named Mr. Chabel. In the orphanage, she is given pills of Valium, which she eventually becomes addicted to and ends up having issues with substance abuse in her later years.
May I make a small suggestion?
Yeah, of course, Emily, go ahead.
I feel like maybe like her being addicted to Valium, I don't know if that's the right thing. Like maybe they're horse tranquilizers?
You know what? Yeah, I think that sounds great. I'm not sure if that's. I think based on what I'm getting, it's not quite what I'm getting at here. But I think Emily hit it correctly. It isn't Valium that I want to pitch. I wanna maybe call it something different, so that not to reference something in real life, like Zanzalam or something like that. And maybe people will believe it's like Librium or something, but not Valium, you know? We're gonna be moving on to the next pitch here. So I'm writing a screenplay about a musician. His name is Andrew Neiman. He's a very talented musician who is starting his career at Juilliard Conservatory with a very strict professor. As one of his first challenges, he will be asked to play a song by the name of Whiplash, during which Neiman will be hurled a chair by his professor, Terence Fletcher. Anyone? Yeah, Emily, you unmuted yourself?
Oh,
Did you?
maybe I just saw Chris was gonna say something too. I mean, I might be a little off, but maybe make a small suggestion. Maybe it's not Juilliard.
Okay.
Maybe it's a different school.
Could I make a suggestion? Maybe it's NYU.
I like when you're going with this, Emily. That is a different school. NYU is it doesn't have the same I'm not sure that it calls the attention of musicians as much as Juilliard or other schools, you know?
Perhaps Tisch?
Again, good suggestion. But you're really trying, you're really working the brain, which is we're going in the right direction. But I think I'm gonna give the point to Emily here. In that Juilliard is kind of all right, but I think Schaefer has a more prestigious conservatory program here. So I think I'll go with that. Thank you so much, Emily. I like that. I like that suggestion. Really good try, Chris. You're really working there. All right. So my next pitch is that I'm writing a movie about the Marvel Comics Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel.
The Marvel comment.
Yeah. Because I should preface this with there is a Captain Marvel in DC Comics as well. But we're talking about Marvel Comics. And in this film, Captain Marvel is a Kree named Verse, or Verse, I don't quite remember what I went with, who is a part of a Star Force in charge of with a mission to oh my goodness. Let me start that again to give you a clear idea of what's happening. So it's a movie about Marvel Comics Captain Marvel. In this film, Captain Marvel is a Kree named Verse, who is part of a Star Force in charge with a mission to rescue an undercover operative infiltrating a group of Skrulls. The Skrulls will be a shape-shifting race with which the Kree are at war.
Excuse me. May I please make an amendment?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Damn it. Okay. Well, is it? Can we change Verse to Carol?
I like that. I think we could discover later that her true name is Carol. But I think towards the beginning of the film, I like the audience. I kind of like the sound of that. Yeah.
May I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Would you consider naming the Skrulls' powers something other than shape-shifting?
It's something that I could look into for sure, but I think that's kind of like the general, version of what it is, what they're doing. All right, I think I had an idea. Maybe she's not a Kree. She's a human who was eventually adopted by the Kree. So maybe there's something to investigate there.
I love it.
Boo from everyone except for Jordan. She eventually kind of becomes like sort of like a part Kree. There's some debate about that, but I think she'll be a born human for now. Anyway, moving on to the next question. I'm writing a Halloween/Christmas mashup movie. It'll follow the story of Jack Skellington as he grows wary of Halloween and searches for something more. He will find a town where they only celebrate Christmas and will grossly misinterpret the traditions of the holiday. I want Tim Burton, the director of Coraline, to direct this one as well.
I would love to make a suggestion, if you don't mind.
I don't mind. Please, go ahead.
This might sound crazy.
Let's hear it.
I would like to suggest a personnel change and maybe have somebody else other than Tim Burton direct it.
You know what? I hadn't thought of that. Tim Burton has quite a good reputation for like the kind of visual that I'm going for, but it's a great suggestion, and I think I'll actually take it. Yeah.
May I make an adjustment? Love your vision. Huge fan. Just going back
again,
to
it's
your
about
homework.
politeness, not about but continue.
Absolutely.
Burton's doing great.
But you were incorrect when you said that Tim Burton directed Coraline. It's very similar theme, but it was not him. I don't remember who it was, but it was not Tim Burton.
That is very interesting. I think you're both kind of hitting the same point here from different angles, because there kind of is two things here that I'm toiling with. So I think unless someone has Emma, you're muted.
Can I just interrupt and say that Tim Burton, I think, would be a better producer for The Nightmare Before Christmas, which is, I think, what you should probably call that movie, but is not the correct director for the film.
You know what? Yeah, I think you're all expanding on some definite faults with my pitch here. So I think for now we have a tie, a three-way tie, unless somebody.
It was
no,
I googled it. So
yeah, I saw you looking down. There's
Jump in
no
on
way.
the three-way points here.
Just trying to
Just like,
steal it away. Put your phone
Everyone's
away,
getting
Chris.
fucking points.
Put your phone away. as he's looking down at his phone, looking for the answer. Yeah, I think.
I was looking at the director of Coraline. That's what I.
You all hit on some very good points. I think Tim Burton should be a producer, not a director. And I Jordan is right. He didn't direct Coraline, which actually came out after Nightmare Before Christmas. But I think the director should be Henry Selick for both of the films, actually, which is a common misconception about that.
Which is crazy because Nightmare Before Christmas is the most like Burton-y thing I can think of.
Same, but he kind of wrote a poem and then the writers went off and did their thing, and he produced it, like Emma said. But we'll continue here, and I kind of want to go back to that magical school pitch because I think it's a solid topic that will hit well with a lot of people in general. So the story I think will feature Harry Potter and his two best friends, Hermione Granger and Ron Weasley. The school, Hogwarts, will be hidden somewhere in Scotland, and children will receive their letter to Hogwarts on their 11th birthday, ensuring every kid is at least 11 by the time they attend Hogwarts. The keeper of keys and grounds will be a half-giant named Rubius Hagrid.
I would love
Let me just enter. Oh.
to make
I heard Griffin first, so I think I have to hear Griffin out first.
I'd love to make a suggestion. I would just love to expand the cast a little bit.
Okay.
In the sense that I think a half giant for the groundskeeper is awesome. Why don't we have a second person for the keeper of keys?
You know what? That is a great suggestion. And I think I'll keep Rubius Hagrid as the keeper of keys and grounds. He's a very strong character, I believe, for that kind of situation. Emma, you had a different suggestion, or was it the same?
I was going to suggest that maybe not every child is 11 by the time they get their letter for Hogwarts, but that they actually can receive their letter slightly before and are, wait, sorry. Can you just wait before I say that? Now I'm forgetting what you said. Did you say, can I just confirm, please?
Yeah, I can tell you what I said. The school Hogwarts will be hidden somewhere in Scotland, and children will receive their letter to Hogwarts on their 11th birthday, ensuring every kid is at least 11 by the time they attend Hogwarts.
Yes, all right. Thank you so much for repeating that. Let me just
It was
say
my
that
pleasure.
not every child receives the letter on their 11th birthday, but that they can receive it before their 11th birthday. Maybe.
You know what, Emma, that's a great suggestion. I like that they attend Hogwarts by the time they're 11, but I think it'd be strange for Hogwarts to send letters at different dates for different kids, and some kids will have more time to prepare than others. So I think you're right. I think every kid should kind of receive it sometime in the year before or during their 11th birthday. But anyway, moving on to the next pitch. I'm writing a cartoon about underwater life. Now, it'll be set in a fictional underwater town, of course, named Bikini Bottom. The main character's name is SpongeBob SquarePants, who is a sponge working at the Krusty Krab. He'll have a neighbor, Squidward Q Tentacles, who is a squid who also works at the Krusty Krab, and a best friend named Patrick Star, who is a starfish who for the most part holds no form of occupation.
I have a suggestion.
Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe at some point in the show, Patrick Star, for a while, also holds employment at Bikini Bottom. At the Krusty Krab, sorry.
You know
City
what?
Council.
She's like the mayor of Bikini Bottom. I like your suggestion, and I think that is a very good thing if he did hold that position as Krusty Krab at some point. However, I said for the most part, which is kind of it doesn't contradict with what you're saying.
Diego, may I make a suggestion?
Of course.
I think it would be odd if SpongeBob was a like a household sponge. Maybe he could be a sea sponge to kind of to no.
I don't know. If you're committing to it.
Yeah, I know. Maybe he's a sea. Actually, it'd be great if his parents are sea sponges. I don't know. If he was a sea sponge, because I think it would be odd that there was a regular, just a household sponge in the sea. Yeah, maybe we could entertain that idea.
I like that. I'm not entirely sure. From what I believe, the premise of it being a sponge, a regular house sponge underwater, is kind of a funny situation to have. So I think I'll keep it as is.
Sorry, can I just interrupt here?
Yeah.
Make a slight alteration to your wonderful pitch.
Of course.
That maybe Squidward's middle initial is not what you said and is in fact something else.
Can
I have a
jump
suggestion.
off of what Emma said here?
No, because I apologize for shutting down any ideas, but I believe I'd like to keep it as Squidward Q tentacles, if that's all right with everyone.
Sure.
Unless your suggestion was about
if you
something
like that.
else. I am very attached to it. Yes. Yeah.
May I make a small suggestion? Perhaps?
Of course, Emily. Go ahead.
You mentioned his neighbor and best friend is named Patrick Starr. Is that his last name?
Yes.
It is.
It
also,
is.
yes. Yeah, I knew that. That's good. And Squidward should play the clarinet. So.
Sorry, can
That's a
I
great
make a small query about your pitch? I agree with Emily that Squidward should play the clarinet.
100%,
That's quite a good look for a squid. But I'm going to argue that Squidward should be SpongeBob's neighbor, but Patrick Starr is not, in fact, SpongeBob's neighbor. He still lives in Bikini Bottom, but they are not neighbors. What do you think about that?
I like that. I think with the pitch that I had, I didn't envision Patrick being a neighbor. I just said he's just the best friend, but I think he could live in the neighborhood around them. I said that, yeah, Squidward is his neighbor and Patrick is his best friend. I didn't say he was his neighbor. So, but that is a good suggestion. He's.
Can I?
Sure. Yeah.
Chris.
I was gonna say let's because we all love talking about this. Let's hear the pitch again.
All right, I'll give it to you one more time, and okay, let's hear it. So, the pitch is by cartoon Underwater Life. It'll be set in a fictional underwater town named Bikini Bottom. The main character's name is SpongeBob SquarePants, with Sponge working at Krusty Krab. He'll have a neighbor, Squidward, Q tentacles, who is a squid, who also works at Krusty Krab, and best friend named Patrick Star, who's a starfish, who for the most part holds no foreign occupation.
I think that sounds good. You can we can greenlight this.
Let's stamp it and
I'd love to just jump in with one idea.
sure, go ahead. What's your idea?
And I know so many pitches have been offered already, so it might feel like I'm grasping at straws.
No, this is what we're here for.
Is it possible that while SpongeBob and Patrick might be great friends, that SpongeBob's actual best friend could be a snail named Gary?
I think SpongeBob should reference Patrick as his best friend in multiple episodes of the show, but I like the snail idea of having maybe a pet snail. I love that as well. I'm gonna say that this is I just had a great idea here, something because this show is kind of silly and goofy. I'm gonna make Squidward an octopus instead of a squid. I think that's kind of a funny, cool misdirection here that the show could have.
Like that.
Yeah, I don't agree.
You know what?
I like
That's
him as a
that's absolutely fine.
Looks
You're-
like
I
a
almost
squid.
said that, but I'm like, that's dumb. That's dumb.
like
There's
a
no way
squid,
that's
okay?
real.
Are you kidding?
I think Jordan, that was a little bit rude saying that you didn't like that. So I'm gonna deduct a point from you. No.
Absolutely, absolutely.
imagine?
I live in the States now. I understand.
I almost said at the beginning, Bikini Bottom's actually not fictional.
I thought of that
fictional
too, Chris. I
down
did.
That's not what
There's
my
actually
brain was like, yeah, maybe it's
All right, we're getting near the end here. I only have two more pitches for you all here. All right, so the next pitch here is that I'm writing a buddy cop comedy starring Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill. Really trying to get them on the project. It'll take place in a loosely metropolitan city where Hill and Tatum will be tasked with starting a new program to infiltrate high schools as undercover cops to contain the spread of a drug called HFS, which is an acronym for holy fucking shit.
I would love to make a suggestion.
I heard Jordan's voice slightly before yours, so I think I'll give the floor to Jordan.
Thank you very much. Excuse me, may I make an amendment that Channing and Jonah's characters didn't actually start. They were assigned to the program. It was already in process by the time they got there. Perhaps we get someone like Ice Cube to portray that character. Maybe.
What
You
if
know
it
what?
was? Pardon me. May I?
You may go ahead. Chris?
I love the suggestion Jordan's pitching. What if it's a revival from an old '80s program that they're bringing back?
I think I like where the two of you are headed, and I think this is kind of your. Honestly, I'm inclined to give the point to Jordan because he was explaining that it was a program. That
I'd love to just back Chris up here, in saying that the program wasn't happening as the two cops attended the force, which is what Jordan said. Chris is right that the program had stopped and is revitalized. It wasn't in progress.
You know what? I think you make a valid point here. I'm inclined to now change my mind and give the point to both of you. For
That's all I was hoping for, double points. Everyone else got double points.
I apologize, Chris. That wasn't very polite of me. I will be deducting all points from myself for that. All right. But you're right. Yeah, the program isn't new. It's a revived scheme from the 80s from a different show. So thank you for your input here. All right. So moving on to the very last question here. So I am writing an adaptation of the story of The Little Mermaid. Now, I want to pitch it to Disney as a more kid-friendly version of the original. So it's gonna star Ariel, the mermaid, of course, during daughter of King Triton, as she lives a life nearly fulfilled by all the wonders she obtains. Now, one day she'll swim up to the surface to peek at a group of people on a boat as they search for treasure. Now, a storm wrecks the ship, and Ariel saves who will eventually become her future husband.
Excuse me, may I make a suggestion?
You may make a suggestion, Jordan, of course.
Perhaps instead of them searching for treasure, they're just having a fancy party where they like to dance out on the sea.
You know what, Jordan? I love your suggestion. So I think I'll put it in the story here. I like the idea of them having a celebration, perhaps for the Prince Eric on his birthday, out in a boat, just like rich people do. That seems very, very Disney. So I appreciate the input here, Jordan. Thank you. All right, so those are all the kind of ideas that I'm working on right now. Peeps, thank you so much for all your input. You've been great help. I'll be putting these together very quickly here, perhaps in the past, and then
I think you're gonna make a lot of money.
I sure hope so. You know, that's
well
my
off.
main goal, to make a lot of money.
What a kind writer's room. I've never met a kinder writer. Very calm.
We're also about to be sued by some of the world's largest companies. I don't know which
you
is
know
going
what?
to happen.
You know what? I got some good people on my side. We can try and fight those.
But who's the best person on your side? Who is the best writer in the room?
Yeah, who won?
Let's not
the
forget
writers'
about
room?
the points
that
here,
is
everybody.
a good.
The reason why we're here.
And was it Chris? Because that's where my
For
bet
sure
goes.
not me.
You know
We
what?
were counting.
I think I value everyone's input so much equally that this is kind of a tie amongst everyone, and this is
That's not fair. I know
the-
I lost. Give it to the winner.
no, I'm kidding. I have been keeping track of points. So Chris, I am sorry to tell you that you earned 2 points.
Checks out.
Emily, you earned 4 points for your suggestions, because I am that kind of friend. I keep track of points for people's suggestions. And Emma and Jordan, you both tie with 5 points at the end of the suggestions. And Griffin, you made a total of 6 suggestions. So we'll give this a partial partnership this time to Griffin.
All because he was nicer than me.
Thank you so much, everyone who's been watching. This is the end of Can I Make a Suggestion? We had Emma, Griffin, Emily, Chris, Jordan, and your host, Diego, once again. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you on the next video. And yeah, smash the black.
Smash the black.
Oh.